Still, no, now, oh yes, it's still preparing. It is loading.
It says is now streaming live on Facebook.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, you're doing Facebook, not Instagram, or you're doing both at the same time?
Yeah. No, Facebook only.
Facebook Live.
I can do it by Instagram, but I just wanted to do by Facebook.
Okay.
I think we are.
Yep,
Let me
we're on.
check. Yes, it says we're on. Okay. Okay, guys. Thank you for accepting my invitation. We are here because my event is tomorrow, and I wanted to share some views about teaching English with songs. What do you think about that? What are your views about this? Susan, maybe you can start telling us what's your opinion about this.
Okay, well, thank you, Marisol, for asking. I work with students that are learning English. I find that music is something that helps them develop their language skills. It helps them with becoming more familiar with the language. I know a lot of students learn through music because they're able to learn lyrics to songs and they're able to memorize them. And that helps them in their English fluency, especially if they have a strong foundation in their first language. So I found that it's a very positive way, a very research-based method for teaching English through music.
Yes, so you have positive experience about...
Very positive experiences, yes.
Have you taught any special thing, maybe vocabulary, grammar, something you have developed?
I have. I've used it, especially when working with elementary students. But even with older students, like teenagers, they love learning language through songs. And it's been, I've taught different ages of students with music, helping them learn English. And it's been a very positive experience. They tend to retain the language a lot better when they're learning and they're having fun. They associate the language learning with the music, and those two worlds come together and it becomes a very positive learning experience for the students.
That's good. And Leo, what do you think about this?
Well, basically, Susan covered a lot of it. You know, what I could add. Yeah, so thank you, Susan. Now I have nothing to say. Thank you.
No, don't tell that. Don't tell that.
Basically, what I could add to that, you know, one of the things that in my experience, you know, teaching is that I found that if I tell my students why we're doing something, they seem to be more receptive.
Yes.
So it's not just, hey, do this.
Right.
You know, I start explaining why we're going to be doing whatever it is that we're going to do, in this case, music, and they're more receptive. Now, it works with all ages. I work with kids, I work with adults. Now, you need to find the right path, what type of song, what type of music. For example, my older students, I found that like power ballads and romantic songs from the 80s and 90s are like a great tool because, for example, I don't want them to do, you know, I don't know, 50 Cent or Snoop Dogg.
No,
not because their music is not because the music is bad. It's just the vocabulary and the singing is not really. It's way different. So. Yeah. Romantic songs, they tend to be a lot easier for them to follow. The lyrics are more, you know, sort of a little clear. They have a little story usually, because music is a poem.
Yeah.
So sometimes there is figurative language that, you know, it can be confusing at times. So I try to sort of guide them. Hey, what about listening to this or listening to that? You know, if they're older, you know, like Frank Sinatra or Elvis. You know, things like that, you know, it, because you can possibly confuse them too. If they get into like, what is that? I don't understand. It's because it's a poem and figurative language can be difficult for a, you know, for a beginning level student. So,
Mhm.
and then of course, what I firmly believe in is that the key to this whole thing is that repetition, because
Yep.
the second time they listen to the
Yep.
song, it's going to be the same lyrics.
Yeah.
It's not going to change.
Exactly. So it's
And the
a
third
positive
time, and the fifth time. So that, and then without them knowing it, they pick up a lot of they pick up grammar structures without you
Yes.
teaching grammar. Because
Yeah.
another thing that I found, I'm not really big on grammar. I'm not.
No.
My English teacher will probably hate me if I say I hate grammar.
I'm like,
I focus.
you hate
There you go.
grammar? I'm an English teacher. I'm like,
I
I do.
focus.
But
I
think
focus on
we can teach
vocabulary.
grammar. I really believe we can teach it, but not, I mean, openly, but there are ways we can
Well,
deal with
grammar
some.
is going to come automatically. What I try to
Yes,
focus at
that's
the
true.
beginning is vocabulary.
yeah.
I believe at
Vocabulary,
the
that
beginning
is
level,
important.
vocabulary is more important because grammar is the organization of words. And if you don't have the words, what the heck are you going to organize?
Yeah.
That's
So-
true.
So you need to give them a lot of words, and then you go, okay, now let's organize them. This is a
Yeah.
verb. This is a preposition. This is a phrasal verb. This is a conditional. But if they don't know it,
Yes.
if you give them too much grammar at first, they're going to start memorizing.
yeah.
And
What
that
they need
process
to
is not very
build up-
natural.
Yes.
So
Something
yeah, but
that
music,
I
absolutely.
Exactly. Something that I like to point out about what you said is two things. First of all, it's right. We have to, start exactly from the vocabulary to build up. So it's one way they can scaffold and have this basis probably established. So if it's well
Yeah, I think
established,
so too.
you can start working on that. And second thing, something I really love what you said is that you can apply these to different ages. So I think that there is a sort of prejudice. Some people believe songs is for kids or maybe teens, and adults cannot learn through songs, and which I think it's wrong. We can use songs through all levels, through all ages. And I think it's something we can, take as a good advantage because it's something fun, and then you can learn as you're having fun. So it's not something so structured. So then there is more flexibility, and then you will get some more results like you're having a very structured class, which it doesn't mean we are not planning. I think we need to plan, but the approach we have is something closer to the student.
Right.
It's not rigid. No, many people believe no. Maybe just you mean you want to sing all the class and you're not going to learn, which is wrong. So, for example, these are the objectives I prepare for what I'm planning to do. Tomorrow is a workshop I'm tailoring, and I have my goals already established. No, I want you to see it, and all the public see what I'm planning. For example, my idea is I'm not going to be like super structured, but I'm going to review adjectives and vocabulary related to personality. We're going to personalize this topic and extend it, and also improve the pronunciation of students by singing. So there is an aim, there are aims. No, maybe some people believe that are not, but there's a lot of planning. What do you think, guys, about the planning when we're planning a session like this?
Yeah, I agree. I always want to plan ahead. I have to know what age group am I working with, and I have to know maybe a little bit of background where they're at as far as what level they are in their English learning. That helps a lot because there are specific strategies to teach English learners. And you want it to be research-based because it has the best effectiveness when it's research-based, and you know what levels the research has already been done. So when you know what level they are, as far as you give them a test or an assessment just for your knowledge so that you can know what level they're at, and then you can teach from that level. You'll know what they're able to do at that level, at each level of their English learning skills. And then you can specifically align your curriculum, and in your planning, you'll know, okay, if they're level 2, at level 2, they're able to do this. So this is what I'm going to focus on maybe, and then make sure your objectives are measurable. That's something that's very important too as a teacher. Like you measure as far as, I want them to be able to do this. How will I know they're able to do this? They're able to do this if they can show me this or demonstrate this. So then you know that your lesson has been effective. You have something to measure it by. So always,
Yes,
always make your objectives measurable, and know what level your student is at, so that you can specifically, or if you have a group and they're at different levels, you kind of can, you know, what strategies work on a whole group level versus one-on-one, right? So there's different ways to go about it, but in planning, you want to have that stuff already prepared ahead of time. Maybe have an assessment done if you really want to know what level they're at. You know what I mean? That's what we do. We use assessments as a tool to figure out where my student is at, so I can teach them from where they're at and set the goals to get them where they want to be.
That's true, Susan. Yes, nowadays we work in the competence, the competence target based on what we want our students to get. And yes, we need to know their level. That's why I was tailoring this lesson planning for students that have a basis between basic and pre-intermediate, so they have some knowledge, some background.
Okay.
No? That's my aim to the workshop that I'm preparing for tomorrow. Leo, what are your views about lesson planning, especially in this type of lesson teaching?
Well, Susan said everything again, so I have nothing to say.
Leo, I'm sorry, I'm taking the words out of your mouth.
No, I think
sure
it's actually, it's pretty wonderful, because we are definitely on the same page, you know?
Yeah.
I think for any type of lesson, you know, planning, it's key.
Yeah.
Really, for anything you want to, you know,
Yeah.
set sail, you know, for. So, yeah, I guess maybe to echo what you said, you know, understand the level, set the expectations, you know, have some type of, you know, a quick evaluation at the end to see if, you know, they acquired or understood the information given.
Yeah.
The instructions, you know, should be very clear, you know, so, you know, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. You know, this is why we're going to do it, you know, and of course, you know, it's more complex to deal with a class in which you have different levels. So that makes it more challenging.
Yeah, it does.
And then there are strategies how to deal with that. You know, if you're one-on-one, hey, that's fantastic. You know,
Right.
you're golden. But yeah, I mean, planning is everything. And if my class is for 40 minutes, I plan 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
So-
always good to have something behind the
Extra.
sleep.
Absolutely.
Yes, something extra.
Because maybe something is not working.
Yeah.
You know, you think in your head it's working, you know, I can do this. And then once you put it to practice, like, oops, it's not really working. So
Yeah.
you go to plan B, plan C, plan D.
Exactly.
Until-
I agree. I totally agree with you. Yes, you
Yeah.
must have
Yeah.
an A to Z plan. That's true. Totally.
Yeah, no British English here, no Z.
Yes, Z. I speak
Not-
both. No, I speak both.
I will hang up. None of this Z stuff.
I speak both.
Why do you
Sorry.
speak British English
Global
also?
English. English is
No.
global. Doesn't matter if it's American, British, but it's important to know both.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
independent
different.
nation.
British English is very different than American English.
No,
That's
thank God.
Thank you.
All right. We won the revolution, so therefore we have American English now.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right?
Again, Susan said everything that needed to be said. Beautiful.
Leo.
But you know,
Funny.
something that I want to put out before we finish is that I think you can also explore a song, and when you are talking about the meanings and the interpretation you can give it. There are many singers that are so talented that they are dealing with a specific situation, you know, maybe
Yeah.
love, maybe about politics, about a specific society problem. So
Yeah.
it's so amazing. How could people listen about these things through songs? No, you make them reflect and
Yeah.
think. No?
Actually,
Because when
you
are-
just reminded me of something really interesting. When I used to
Yeah.
work at this high school, one of the lesson plans for this bimester was justice. So a lot of times, you know, we work sometimes, we use movies, we you know, use music. So part of this this unit, I decided to use the movie The Hurricane. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it.
Is that a boxing movie?
Denzel Washington. It's
Yes.
based on a true story.
Yes, I have. It's an excellent movie, by the way.
So I chose that movie to discuss justice in the unit.
I love it.
And part of the movie, Bob Dylan, in real life, wrote a song, a protest song
Yeah.
about the hurricane.
Yep.
And part of the assignment, one of the assignments of the unit was for my students. I put them in groups of 3, and one of their products needed to be to write a protest song.
Oh.
So after that, they
Now,
praise it.
to simplify the process, because a lot of the students are not musicians, they could use the music of an already made song and they just change the lyrics and introduce the protest theme to the idea of with the lyrics.
Very nice.
So they use U2 Sunday Bloody Sunday,
Oh yeah.
you know the hurricane, you
Yeah.
know, well, in a lot of 60s and 70s, a lot of protest songs. Most of
Yeah.
them were written.
That's what was going on in that time. There was a lot of protests going on, civil unrest.
So
Yeah.
I introduced them to this genre of music that they were
Very
completely, you know, ignorant on,
Yeah.
you know, oblivious. It's like, you know, so Bob
Yeah.
Dylan, who the heck is Bob? So they loved it.
That's like
they
our
loved
parents' generation. Yeah.
Because it was like, was so fashion
Exactly.
that
So-
they got interested.
They had to write, you know, this protest song. They had to write an essay on
Yeah.
the topic, you know, and then the fun part was that they wrote the lyrics for the song, and then I would put the karaoke line in class, and then they would sing it.
Oh, that's so fun.
That's what I love,
Oh,
you know. We
they
are
went
kind of
crazy.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
They went
Awesome.
crazy, you know. So
Yeah.
so again, that is music based, and they were so excited that they did not mind doing all the work because they
Yeah.
worked a lot, writing the essay,
Yeah.
writing the lyrics, make sure the grammar was correct, make sure the spelling was okay, make sure that
Yeah.
you know the presentation, and it's like they did not mind, you know. It's
That's
like
wonderful.
they wanted to write another. I'm like, no, one song by Messer, guys. You know, so.
Exactly. They were really eager to repeat this whole process.
Yeah.
See?
You reminded me of that project that, you know, and I had it every year at school, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's
Very fun.
engaging.
That's cool.
Definitely it's engaging. So guys, basically that's what I'm trying to do tomorrow in my workshop. That is tomorrow, Friday, 22nd, May 22nd at 6 p.m. Peruvian time. Yes, you can contact me through Facebook. My WhatsApp is 994795696. Anyway, I'm going to leave it on the description. And you can register, you can send me a message through WhatsApp because you need to pay 30 soles for this workshop. And it's going to be incredible. We're going to have fun. We're going to learn with songs and we are going to sing, of course. In my
Very
classes,
cool.
I love singing. I love karaoke. Susan, you know
Yeah.
that.
I know.
Me
That
and
we-
Susan
Yeah.
are going to the karaoke every
I've seen
night.
those videos.
Every
late
Wednesday, Marisol and I are on karaoke, and every Saturday, so we do the Depeche Mode social chat. So we're
Yeah.
very
Hey,
much Zoom,
my
but
band, we do some covers of the Depeche Mode. We have about 8 songs.
really?
I'm a
Yeah.
singer.
Oh, you're a singer. I'm a singer too.
There, so I want
Not
to
a
give you my
band,
fan page so you can see our what we do.
For
we
sure.
do
Of
tribute to
course.
the Cure.
Oh, you do a
That's
tribute to the
nice.
Cure also?
Oh, that's our main thing. Right now, I
that's-
let my
that's
beard
my
grow,
s-
but technically
That's my
I shave.
second. Yeah. The Cure's my second favorite band.
See,
Then you have
music,
to check us out.
I have to. You're on Facebook. I'll have to find you.
The Push
Yes.
Peru.
The which
uh-huh.
one?
The Push Peru.
Push Crew.
Yeah.
Can you put it in the
The
chat?
Yes, he's
The
going to put it in the
Push
chat.
Peru.
The Push Crew.
Yeah. Yeah.
Put it in the
So
chat.
guys, it was amazing to having you
Oh,
sharing
push.
your
Okay.
ideas. Yes,
Oh,
he's
nice.
the man. He
Peru,
plays
the push Peru.
Oh, Peru.
Yes.
Okay, got it. The push
Yes.
Peru.
So he plays in
Yeah,
the band.
you have to see it. It's kind of
I'll
cool.
look,
from
I'll
the
look him up
keyboard.
on Facebook.
Sweet.
Yes. So guys, thank you so much for your cooperation. I think my workshop is going to be a success, and people know that music, it's a good way to learn English. So thank you so
Very
much
much.
for
You're
that.
Absolutely. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for
Thank-
having us.
Thank you,
Yes.
Marisol. I appreciate your invitation as well. It was great to talk
Yes,
about it.
we'll see you soon. Thank
Good
you.
luck tomorrow.
Good
Yes,
luck
Take a
with the
leg.
workshop.
yes, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, okay, let me see.